What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer with another Overwatch Player's Guide. Today I'll be talking about D.Va, and more specifically, how to survive when things go south and you lose your precious mecha. While ideally you want to spend as little time outside of your mech as possible, you'll inevitably get ejected sooner or later, and have to face the enemy naked, but not necessarily afraid. So the first rule of thumb to go by whenever you're out of mech is to keep your distance from the enemy. Having only 150 health, you are an incredibly easy to pick off target. Despite her small hitbox, Zero Suit D.Va has no special mobility, and thus it is very difficult to escape from enemies who are focusing you. This is one example of when knowing the map's layout is very important. As soon as your mech hits 0 health, you should already be planning your escape route. Try to head to the closest cover, but first, consider whether you will be able to return to your team from there. Being stranded behind enemy lines is a mechless D.Va's worst nightmare. There are techniques to survive if this does happen, and I'll mention those a little later on, but your first priority should be to retreat away from the enemy and towards your team. After you've made it a safe distance back and/or have grouped up with some other teammates, consider whether or not you are exposed to enemy snipers. If the enemy has a sniper, then be very cautious about poking out from behind cover. D.Va's low health and mobility makes her easy pickings for both Widowmaker and Hanzo, so just be aware of whether either are on the enemy team, and if so, where they are positioned so you can avoid their line of sight. So now that you're safe and secure, it's time to get your mech back. Of course you could hide like a coward and just wait for it to recharge, but you'd probably get kicked for inactivity, and obviously, you wouldn't be helping your team in the meantime. So the right way to go about getting it is to pump as much damage out of your little pistol as possible. The best and safest way I've found to do this is to fire through choke points. It can be difficult to hit with D.Va's light pistol at long ranges, so unloading all your shots into narrow regions, which are teeming with enemy bodies, will be the quickest way to charge back up your mech. However, there are some things you should look out for. First off, always keep moving. Zigzag back and forth to prevent the enemy from being able to hit your tiny body. Furthermore, know who and who not to target when trying to recharge your mech. While D.Va's small size can make her easy to overlook amidst the rest of her team, getting hit by her pistol will not only alert them to your presence, but also, the relatively slow projectile speed will tell them exactly where you are. The two heroes I advise never firing at are Winston and Genji. They are both a lot faster than you and deal a lot more damage. If they decide to focus your tiny ass, you will die. Now, of course there are always exceptions, and under certain circumstances they are safe to target, but in general, try to avoid them like the plague. Heroes that I do consider safe to target include Reinhardt and Roadhog, given their large sizes and inability to effectively deal damage at long range. Overall, you're going to want to be firing your gun at more or less everything that moves, as your primary goal right now is still to get your mech back, and every stray body shot on the enemy counts towards that. As soon as your mecha recall is charged, use it. While D.Va's light pistol is a decent source of DPS, it's nothing compared to the utility provided by you when in the mech. Furthermore, every second you spend out of mech is another second you spend vulnerable with only 150 HP. Don't try to go for that last bit of damage from the last bit of ammo in your clip, because a lot can kill you in that time, which wouldn't if you would just load it into your mech. However, while suiting up should be done right away, there are a couple techniques to doing it more safely. If possible, try to duck into cover when calling your mech. Even though the process is quick, there is a very brief second where D.Va herself is immobile, yet still capable of taking damage. Good players on the enemy team will know to focus your frail little body during this time, and nothing is more frustrating than being less than a nanosecond away from safety only to have their fucking Widowmaker shoot you in the goddamn back. So, if you're in a position where you are under fire and there is no time to duck into cover, make sure you are facing the enemy when you activate your mech. Even before you climb inside, the mech will still be able to take damage, meaning that all the enemy fire will hit it instead of you. Once you're re-mechanized and good to go, your mech will already be down as much damage as it received during the recall process. But 99 times out of 10, that's better than you having directly taken the damage instead. And now that you're back in the saddle, you're free to desert your nation and go beat up psychopaths in the Australian outback. But before I wrap up this video, I'm going to backtrack a bit to what I mentioned earlier about not being able to escape from behind enemy lines in the first place. Let's say all your teammates are dead and there's simply no way of escaping on foot. While the outlook is grim, you still have one hope of survival, and that's to go all Zero Suit Rambo on the enemy. While much more often than not you'll die in this situation, rushing the enemy like this can catch them off guard and let you get in just enough damage to recall your mech and fly the hell out of there. The best way to do this is to duke and dive all around a big target who won't be able to focus you as easily as you can focus them. The best targets for this are Zarya and another D.Va. Go for headshots and you'll be surprised how quickly you can actually recharge your mech. However, if I didn't emphasize this enough already, never try this head-on attack unless it's absolutely necessary. If the enemy has a Winston or Genji, or a Mei, McCree, Reinhardt, Roadhog, or Reaper, then this close quarters technique will pretty much always fail. But if you're really lucky, you just might make it out alive. Anyways, that pretty much sums up my guide to surviving a Zero Suit D.Va. Please comment below if you found it helpful, or if you have your own tips about how to survive the terrifying outdoors. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and click that bell icon to get notified of all my future uploads. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, keep on your toes and have a great day.